Okay, what's up, y'all? How are y'all doing? Welcome to the show, the Carlotta Chat with Show. I did not mean to have another show today, but some news came out. And I said, you know what? This is a good topic to talk about today. Rashee Rice, Rashee Rice from Kansas City Chiefs, back in the news. Back sounds like in trouble again. Sounds like I say. I really want to discuss this topic, and I'm going to discuss a couple other topics today. But and I know some people, this is going to trigger some people. It's going to make some people mad. I talked about this on the old show years ago on the old podcast on Blog Talk, but it's very interesting. He has been charged with domestic violence charges. Now, we do know Rashee Rice was the young man who got suspended 6 games at the beginning of the year. Partly why some of the reason why Chiefs couldn't get it together this year. And let me just say this to you guys. Lesson for everybody out here that you can learn from Rashee Rice: how your actions can affect a whole group. So many people don't understand that, like how your actions. I was listening to Sidebar too. This is another Sidebar. I was listening to Russell Wilson this week, and he was talking about. I said, why is Russell so unlikable to people? I understand some of it. But then also, I think he's misunderstood by a lot of his teammates. He was talking about how he had an injury clause in his contract. And a lot of times they kept trying to put pressure on him to take that clause out of his contract, which I really believe. I really believe they set Russell up a little bit and stuff like that. But he wouldn't do it. And he said, I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to set that precedence in the NFL for players. So smart, so thinking about other people. And this is a guy who understands that my actions affect everybody in some sort of way. So responsible in that way. Powerful. Not saying that he hasn't had some other hiccups and stuff where people didn't like him, but I totally loved what he said. And I might play that a little bit later on if I get time on the show. But your Rashee, the other year before last, he got into a car accident, left the scene of the car that I think they were allegedly racing or something on the thing, people thought, or something, but they hit another car. It could have been a tragedy. Thank God people weren't hurt really bad. But him and his friends left the scene and people videotaped them doing so. And this caught him a suspension from the NFL. And this also hurt the Chiefs this year. It hurt them. It hurt their chances for the Super because they couldn't get it together after the midpoint. This I use this because it's so important. It's always important to understand how your presence affects everyone in something. Okay, but now we got this new news out about him. Doesn't sound good. And I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna talk about this in a controversial way that people are not gonna like. But I'm okay. I'm okay with controversy. Let me see here. Pull it up here with Rashee Rice, the news recently. If I can get it up for y'all. But so now he's in trouble again, allegedly. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, if I can pull this too so y'all can see what's going on here. Okay. It says, let me pull this up. How that going on here. Okay, you guys can see it says right. Rashee Rice allegations explain what to know about ex-girlfriend's Instagram post about domestic abuse. Okay. Rashee Rice, this is from Yahoo Sports. It says Rashee Rice allegations explain what to know about the ex-girlfriend's Instagram post. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is linked to domestic violence allegations Dakota Nicole Jones posted graphic images on her Instagram account that showed bruising and cuts on her face and body. She said that they were from 8 years of domestic abuse and that she was tired of keeping quiet about it. Rice is never named explicitly in the post. Jones said that it was from the father of her children, and she and Rice have 2 children together. At this time, no police reports have been filed, and it's just on Instagram. The Chiefs have been made aware of allegations and released comments saying the club is aware of the allegations on social media and is in communication with the National Football League. We have no further comment at this time. On Wednesday, January 7th, Rice's ex-girlfriend posted graphic images to her Instagram. They show bruising and marks on her body that she says are from sustained domestic abuse by the father of her children. While Rice was not named in the post, the descriptor about the father of her children is assumed to be Rice, though there hasn't been any explicit confirmation at that. And she ought to be, if there's somebody other, if she got some other baby daddy, you ought to be very clear about that. But it says at this time, no police report has been filed in Dallas or Overland Park, Kansas, where the ex-girlfriend alleges abuse took place. Rice's ex-girlfriend is Dakota Nicole Jones. Rice and Jones reportedly have 2 children together. Jones posted graphic images on her Instagram account, which alluded to Rice abusing her in a relationship, though she doesn't ever call him by name. She talks about a lot of things. She talks about him after she found him cheating, him leaving her outside in cold weather. She talks about allegedly him hitting her. Now, here's my problem with this, okay? And ladies, this is always my problem. This sounds revengey because you do not wait and post it to Instagram. If you have serious abuse going on in your life, and then this is what Cassie did too. I pay attention to these things and I don't let women do this because what I don't like, no man should be hitting you, but you should also be reporting it to the police when it immediately happens, because you protect other women when you do those type of things. You don't save pictures because you got a rich boyfriend or you got, because see, she's allegedly saying these pictures are from 8 years of abuse. So basically this mofo has been bold enough and brave enough to take pictures and keep them for a rainy day. And yet, instead of going to police so he could deal with his issues and she could deal with them issues before he hurt her or something, she's kept those pictures somewhere because now she's posting them to Instagram. She didn't even go to the police station and say, hey, police, here's some pictures. This is what he did to me over the years. She didn't even take him to the police station. That's how you, and women, anybody can't, don't write me and say I'm not a woman's person. Yes, the fuck, I love women. I'm a woman. But I know I'm for us taking fucking accountability. I know when the motherfuckers out here sounding like they manipulate. Why did you wait? Why did you have picture stash of the abuse and not take them? And I'm going to say address probably why she didn't. Well, on my point, but I still say that's not a good thing. Hold these pictures and then release them on Instagram instead of going to the proper authorities to get things done. That sounds like revenge, and it doesn't help you any. Okay, women, when you are abused and it's been a serious abuse, and you know it's abuse, go to the police and file you a police report. Okay. Hold on just a second, guys. Hold on here. I'm in the middle. I'm trying to, okay, guys. Hold on. I'm going to take a quick break, guys, and I will be right back, and we'll talk more about this as soon as I get back, okay? Y'all hear my thing going off, right? So y'all know what it is. Okay, so we're going to be right back in just a moment, all right? All right, you guys, welcome back. I sorry I had to take that. But yes. Okay, so we're talking about Rashee Rice and the situation with Rashee Rice. This it's very bad. Men, let me tell you this. Okay, if you have problems, character problems, we all have issues, but when you have character problems like domestic abuse, toxic relationships, those are not things you should take with you to the top. Can I just say that for you? Because especially as black men in sports and all kinds of things, you can't afford. I don't care how they make you feel in those places of wealth and those places of open doors in America. If you are a black American person, if you're black, especially if you're black American, but if you're black, period, but especially if you're black American, because the beef, there is a strong beef in America with black Americans because of our history and everything like that. And what I want to say to other people in the diaspora in America, what we understand that's hard for you guys to understand is, and there that they will treat other groups in the diaspora better than they will black Americans at times. So because it's more about our lineage. So and we understand white supremacy. We've been living in the belly of the beast. Okay. So black males, you have to understand you cannot go in these spaces not armed, not protecting yourself, not understanding that you can't do what you see your white counterparts. You can't have the same bad behaviors as your white counterparts. Where they can get away with it, you can't. And they will take your careers. And this isn't, and you guys got to be, first of all, you shouldn't be hitting on no chick. No way. If this happened, he definitely deserves suspension. I am a person that does not believe he needs to lose his job, though. Oh boy, I'm going to get smacked for this. Let me tell you, okay, domestic violence is something I think is a horrible thing. Women lose their lives and men lose their lives because of it. It's not just women who've lost their lives to domestic violence, it is men too, because there are abusive women around here. Okay. What I will say to you that's very important is I think there has to be a deeper discussion that goes on when, especially in these high spaces, when men lose their jobs, because losing a job does not help a domestic violence situation, I don't think. Especially when you're in the high end situations, when you're, sometimes it may teach them a lesson, but sometimes that may make it worse because you're putting somebody in a financial bind. So I've never thought that was a good idea. I thought making people get help, suspension for a while, definitely huge fines that goes towards the domestic violence victim when you find out it has been real domestic violence. Not that goes towards the NFL or any other group, that big group, but when we're dealing with stuff like the NFL, NBA, I don't immediately like the idea of being cut from teams. Because the reason why I don't is because that puts an undue pressure not only on the person, and the likelihood of them getting to the likelihood of you being a Kareem Hunt who seems to have gotten it together since his situation. That it's highly under, and Kareem is so lucky because Kareem had a situation and it was crazy situation. I don't know, and he was able to restore himself. And I think people should be able to restore himself, but that should be with suspension to me, and to see it. And then if they have more than uh, you know, more than one, then that's when you consider getting rid of them from the NFL, unless it's something totally egregious. And I think it has to be proven in a court of law. I don't like the idea of just suspending people when they're awaiting. I mean, uh, firing people when they're awaiting a court case, or firing people because it's. I hate that. I think they make the situations worse, in my opinion. And ladies, here's what I'll say to you: if you're out here playing games with your baby daddy, okay, and you know you got a toxic relationship, and you holding pictures, and yeah, I'm gonna get him, because he hit me that time, and and you didn't go to the police at first, and you're playing manipulative games back with him. You're just you're a part of that abuse too. You report an abuser. You don't sit there and hold pictures if somebody's constantly abusing you for 8 years. I'm gonna stack up these pictures, and when he get me mad and when he break up with me, I'm gonna release him on Instagram. And I ain't release him to the police office. I'm gonna release him on Instagram. That makes you less believable. That hurts other women's cases who have serious domestic violence issues, and they not playing with each other. Some women, I keep telling y'all this, and y'all have a hard time with this, and people have they get mad at me all the time for saying this. I say every domestic violence case, a lot of them are not what you think. Like every time women are in the middle of a fight, if a woman gets hit, a lot of times we don't investigate that it's a toxic relationship on both ends. It's very hard for people to see that because they're like, well, you should never hit a woman. And I agree, you shouldn't hit a woman. But I also know there are women who fight back, who start the fights. There are women who get out here at the fucking. They are women who do all kind of crazy stuff where they try to provoke, and the same vice versa. There are men who provoke women to do crazy stuff. It's because you're human. I'm not saying domestic violence is right, but I'm saying every case needs to be looked at, because some of it is just a bunch of toxic motherfuckers together. That's true. I've seen it before. I've seen two toxic people and two toxic people fighting each other all the time. I've seen a woman get up and jump a man knowing she can't whip him. And the man just got to stand there and take it. And women beating, knocking men's car windows. Oh, it's just like what happened in the case when you listen to Diddy's case. That's why I always tell people say I didn't hear that because you wasn't probably reading the transcripts of the case. But the second Jane Doe, which people think allegedly is 50 Cent's baby mama, the second Jane Doe had heard about Diddy getting sued by Cassie, right, for domestic violence. So she invites him over to the house, allegedly, in the transcripts. But they get to arguing about it. She takes Diddy's head and bumps his head up against a marble counter. Then starts allegedly throwing candles and stuff at the man. Okay, and so the man, he's already got abuser. So he takes her and starts fighting her back. But a lot of people question in that court case, were you trying to get that so you can get a payday yourself? Why would you invite a crazy person over and start hitting on them? Because it's people who play games. It's women who play games too, who play domestic violence games. It's not cute. And you hurt real women who are going through real domestic violence issues. Now, if this sister's been really hurt, that's not good. But you should have you should go to the police. And I do want women to consider this. When you got a high yielding, I'm not saying that I'm going to give her this. Maybe this is why she didn't immediately go to the police. And I'll give it this. I'll give it only a little credence. Only a little is because she did have to consider that when you go to the police, and that's why I say, please be wise on these things. Don't be playing games. That loss of income is also the loss of your checks, your baby mama check. So maybe she was trying to protect the income that she was, but she said you want to take care of the kids good anyway. But you let that happen for 8 years. You let the beatings happen for 8 years. You let all these things, you stacked up pictures. And then when you did release the pictures, You didn't allegedly. When you did release the pictures, allegedly, you released them to Instagram. And then you didn't say the man's name. That all sounds like games. Okay. And ladies playing those games with income that you depend on for your children ain't cute. There's ways to handle him. Going to child support court, that's one way. It's because a lot of y'all don't like to play child support games too. I don't want to take him. He's gonna just come by. I don't need the child support. Oh, that's a stupid stuff. No, go get child support, especially if you ain't married to him. Secondly, and that's just a better. It's just a deal. Me and I agree. I would go if I was men. If I were men who were dealing in those high end situations, you don't want no drama. Now, when you're dealing with men who don't have a lot of money or working in different things, I understand women working with those men and not bringing in the child support cases. But men who are of higher status, either you work out something with your lawyers or you work out something with the child support court cases. But it needs to be legal when we're dealing with high end money and stuff like that. Men, you can't fight women and be beating on women and all these dumb things are being toxic relationships when you are dealing in high yielding money relationships. If you're a black man, you can't afford it. They don't give you no second chances. Now, Rashee Rice might lose his career if they find out this is true. And he can lose it because of an allegation. They don't even got to prove it no more. Just the stain of that being on you. It's sad. Just the stain of that being on you. And listen, I growing up in urban areas all around the United States. You're exposed to a lot of things. Listen, when you come part of the Black community, especially in Black American community, we have this small part, less than probably 15%, that because we come our background in America, and that's why I always tell people it's important to understand what Black Americans came from before you tend to judge Black American situation. Because of the energy of what has happened to us in our home, in our homeland, and the country that our ancestors helped build. Some of that has elements where impoverishment and racism and the background of Jim Crow, all these elements has helped to make a certain part of us very toxic, because we're trying to break free from the bonds. There's a part of our community that struggles with breaking free, even when we're wealthy and we've made it and you become there is this part, there's a thing that tries to be separation too. There's so many layers to this. I look, one of my favorite books years ago is a book called Black Rage. It's wonderful, but there is so many layers where we have people who, racism has created a sort of thing where Black people are respected for not, I won't say respected, but are used for their gifts and talents. But some of these kids are coming out of extreme impoverishment, extreme areas of where racism has affected them in a very powerful way. I'm not saying that, and some of it has caused a lot of character flaws. When you're, it's just like when you're dealing with some sort of abuse, okay, you're likely to come out with some behavioral issues if you don't have someone speaking to the healing side of that. Now, as you come of age, you have to get it together yourself. You have to make these decisions. And it's the same thing with the black community. As we come of age in the era, it's not that what racism hasn't had its effect, but it's also that we have to also see how it affects us and make sure that the community, most of the community, can survive this kind of onslaught this kind of onslaught of race and the things with it that has worked to try to destroy us. And it's not just one thing. I mean, it's layers of things that white supremacy has done to the black community. And I know somebody's sitting here listening to this. I'm like, well, yeah, there you go, making it the white man's fault. No, I'm not making it anybody's fault. Eventually it's up to the individual. But I'm also saying how these things affect a community. And so some of these things, and one of the things in the community, these toxic, and that's in every community, they have toxic relationships, but there's this toxic, what I call hood relationship, ghetto. They even write about it in songs. You know what I'm saying? These people write about ghetto love and songs and stuff like that, hood love and all that, or ride or die and stuff like that. And it is a bad misconception. It's become part of the culture. When it's not cultural at all, it's stupid. And so you have men who are wealthy, young men who are rich and wealthy, instead of becoming something different, trying to take that element of the culture, the bad element, and bring it and try to be out there with it. It's like I always used to hear my years ago. I shouldn't tell this, but my grandparents used to say they be all talking about the older people. My grandparents, they old friends and stuff, be talking about. They talking about one of the worst things you can do is, they used to say, talk about black and white people when they get black and white kids when they get together. They used to say, no offense, but they would say back in those days sometimes it could be a toxic mix, because they say what would happen is the you could be a good black kid, but the white kid would try to take the worst elements, would be attracted to the worst elements of your community and will try to be that instead of the good parts of it. She said they would be like, I swear they'll find the worst thing to show up. And that happens too culturally for us, because of the hip hop has done that sometimes, even though hip hop doesn't have all bad elements, but there has been a portion of hip hop that has exploited the bad elements of poverty and impoverishment has caused in our community. So a lot of times, because this is played up in the media as cool and the thing to be and all of this stuff, we have now people who don't even live that lifestyle, or who once lived that lifestyle, but trying to bring those elements into high places. And it doesn't work. I hope I'm making sense. You guys have to be better about that. You don't bring, there's this one particular player I watch in the NFL all the time. I won't say his name, but you'll probably guess it. And he wears he's always looking depressed. and and he wears these kind of like in his hair. And this is not about hair. It's not about good hair, bad hair, because I don't believe in that. but he wears these plaques, has like girl plaques, like little girls used to wear when they was little in his hair and all these. And he always is looking rough. And I don't know if he thinks that's what he needs to be dominant, but it is he looks more depressed to me. It's not that he has to be clean cut and shit, but it's the look, it's the energy it's bringing. Because look, you know what I'm saying? Like the Bible, man looks on the outer appearance, you know, stuff. But sometimes your outer appearance is reflecting something inner. And I said the reason he can't get past it because he is something get past where he needs to get is because he's trying to carry that old energy into new places. You can't do that. They try to keep a certain look of grittiness and hard and all that stuff. You might have had to be gritty and hard in the hood, but you ain't in the hood no more. And so how do you change those elements? Sometimes you can use those elements, but sometimes you don't. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing, but I believe a lot of Black people struggle with that. And so, yeah, it's and I, you know, and these ideas of these toxic relationships come through too. Okay, so you cannot do toxicity up there in high. You got to be smart. Okay, so I hope this young man does. It's not looking good. Okay, the NFL does not play with that. They usually you usually will lose your job right away and your reputation ruined. Unless you're worth a hell of a lot of money to them, you know. So we'll continue to watch out for this particular thing and see what happens in it. Okay. All right, you guys. So moving on to other topics that I wanted to discuss today. There's one thing I saw. Let me see if I can get it up, y'all. I'll get this. Hold on. And I hope I made sense on that. If I didn't, y'all, you know. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I found this interesting. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay, you guys, I'm going to play this video from its own site about friendship amongst women and stuff like that. So let's take a listen to this, okay? Okay, let me see if I can get it for you guys so you guys can see this particular thing. Okay.
Relationships. Let me tell you about my New Year's Eve last night. 4 of us get ready to go out. I already DM'd the promoter for Vendom, so that way he said we can get in. You know, there'll be alcohol, no, wait at the door. Everything's all good. We pull up. One of my friends is plus size, and they tell her that she has to pay $300 at the door.
Oh, my Lord.
We all thought we were going to have an expense-free night, so no one wanted to pay for the $300 entry fee. We spent over 2 hours trying to figure out if we're going to split it. Can she put on her credit card? Whether we're just going to leave, go to another club, like literally just doing everything. And we spent over 2 hours plotting and planning and strategizing. Finally, we're 10 minutes before New Year's Eve. And I personally did not want to spend my New Year's Eve sitting on the curb. So I asked my friend, would you be willing for us to pay for your Uber to go back home so you can watch the ball drop, watch fireworks, and be safe? So that way we can at least go into the club before midnight.
What?
She turned to me and says, I'll get in that Uber, but once I do, we are not friends anymore.
Hey, man. Wow.
If you've ever wondered why people say Miami tests friendships and Vegas tests relationships, let me tell you about my New Year's Eve last night.
How horrible. First off, why am I hearing constantly about Miami? How the fuck are y'all letting people get away with, and I like to know your background, but how are y'all letting people get away with discrimination? I've heard this time and time of fucking again about women being too dark to get in clubs in Miami. Motherfucker, and black men, black American men, the fuck are you playing Miami for? You motherfuckers go down there more than anybody to some of y'all and party in them clubs. And you know they being discriminatory against black women. Dark-skinned black women, big plus-size women, and a lot of times it's black women. It's constantly dark-skinned women and big plus-size black women getting on. What the fuck is, why you gotta pay her 300 more for fucking dollars? What the fuck is that? Where is that allowed? And why aren't y'all suing the fuck out of them, getting a lawyer, a big-ass lawyer, to teach these clubs in Miami a fucking lesson? Or how about not going to them at all? Now, for the bunch of friends that came with your friend, the moment you saw them, you charging her $300 extras because she's plus size. All of y'all should have walked the fuck away. And let me tell you something. Shout out to her, because she said the right thing. She said, when I get in that Uber, it ain't gonna be no more friendship. And you thought you showing something, showing y'all at the club partying. That's how they never thought well of you. There are women that do that shit too. I see it all the time. I had somebody tell me one time, and I was out with some friends one time, and they said to me, this dude says to me, this is years ago. He said to me, "Oh, you just like being the finest in the group." I'm like, wow, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Like, like I'm picking girls based on how they look and stuff. Even though I know women do that, I didn't know that. I had no clue that there are women who pick women according to their sizes. And these are, and I hear this in a lot of circles, this especially in Hollywood and stuff like that, according to their sizes, their this and that, so they can have all baddies around them, all what they consider fine friendship. I know you motherfuckers got fucked up friendships. I know you do. If that's all you picking people out of is how they fucking look, how they fucking keep themselves. People can keep them. People, even if people plus size maybe show one issue for someone, it may show that people are struggling with weight, are struggling with situations. But a lot of these girls who's in shape and stuff, they got motherfucking personality flaws. That, not all of them, but a lot of them. They spending so much time on their outer appearance, they ain't got nothing good going on the inside. So if you picking people based on, and that's what the Bible says, people will look at the outer appearance. People will choose friends. That's what people do, because it makes them move up again. Sis did the right thing. And I never talked to none of them bitches again. You couldn't call me. None of you motherfuckers. None of you bitches. I would be like, no, bitch, you don't. My friends know me. My friends be like, this motherfucker, Keisha will cut you the fuck out. Carlotta will cut you the fuck off. It's an ongoing thing. Now, I'm a Scorpio too, okay? I'm a Scorpio, so I'm hardcore. I'll love you and cut you off. I love you. I have a friend, I love her. And somebody called me with some bullshit about her. I said, nah, just because we ain't talking, just because I ain't with her, no, that's still my sister. I just ain't with her. But you ain't gonna talk no shit to about her. Not to me. And I love this chick, but I had to cut her the fuck off. I was like, nah, motherfucker, you don't respect me. And I cut her off, and my friend, I had friends calling me, yeah, you really wanna do that. Only my other Scorpio friend respected. I say it's okay for y'all. I'm not saying none of y'all don't have to be friends. I don't have that. I've cut the relationship. Nah, I'm about that life. I can love you and cut you off. I can love you and I will cut you the fuck off. I've done it to family members, and it's took an act of God. They be like, oh my God, I can't believe you. Oh, she talked to me. I will cut you off if I think you toxic, and I expect you to do. And it ain't just one way. If I do some horrible shit, and I know I did some horrible shit, I ain't mad at you for doing that. I ain't mad at you for cutting me off. Sometimes I need to be that. That's a lesson that needs to happen. I had years ago a situation that happened with me. Let me tell you about this situation. I had a girlfriend that I was crazy about. I used to hang out with her. We used to go to games together, cheap games. We do we met each other instantly, liked each other. Now I did see some red flags early in the friendship, okay? Because I was trying back in those days, I was more trying to be a singer and stuff like that. But I'd also started getting into church and stuff like that. And I wasn't sure if I should go into if I was gonna sing R&B and stuff. And I was still singing around and stuff like that. And a particular person who was a part of a had asked me about, they were trying to get an R&B girl group together, and this was, I was very young, and this person was a manager of a big a person, if I said the person's name, whatever, asked me about it, and they wanted me to come backstage or whatever one night. One of the things, the girl group didn't happen. I remember who the girl group was, but I was very confused about it. And I remember this particular friend was like, that's the first sign of jealousy I seen. She was like, it's not that big of a deal. It was just the way she responded to me. I didn't really like it. She didn't respond to my division, my dividing spirit, like worrying about my spirituality. She was more like you can't be just be a star, like whatever you got to do. What? So that was one of the red flags. But I love this girl, okay? And then the second thing was when she had lost someone very close to her, and we were all cool too with her. But she was with me that night, and I think she always held it against me because she wasn't with her. But I said, maybe if you was with her, you would have got whatever, because it was a domestic violence situation. She may have gotten it too, but I always thought I was held. I thought about that just a little bit. So those were little things I recognized, but we still had a great relationship, right? But let me tell you some fucked up kind of stuff I did. So I'm already knowing these little red flags, so I'm kind of holding it a little bit because I'm a Scorpio. I was real, and back in those days, my Scorpio toxicity showed a little bit more because I was young, so I was kind of holding it against her. I'm like, this bitch kind of hating, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, but I didn't say that out loud, like, you got a problem with me? I said, so I had a girlfriend who, at the time, my girlfriend was a savage motherfucker. She was savage as fuck, okay? And so she was dating a guy, and we went over to her crib. We went over to her house. My friend had never met this other girlfriend. I introduced them, and my friend was telling her about this dude. And I was in the middle of this situation because one of the dudes she was dating was my friend. Okay. And so I was like, you gotta stop. You gotta chill. You can't be dogging him and stuff. And she was acting a motherfucker fool. She was at this time, this friend I had was savage. She's a playgirl. She was playing while she was pregnant. Right. So she like threw the dude's wreath away. She did a lot of shit. Okay. So this other friend was watching like, oh my God, like she's crazy and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, she's wild or whatever. So speeds up a few months later. Okay. So we're going to a dinner or something. And my friend breaks up with this dude. This dude is crazy about her, right? Crazy. I mean, like, dude was like he didn't care that was pregnant by somebody. Dude was about to take care of everything, but she just like, fuck yeah, just break it up. Because she said she had dudes like that, right? So it was crazy. It's the craziest to this day. I don't understand how but I kind of know. Yes, I do, because she had a great. Even though she was savage, her personality, surface wise, she was funny. She had like a lot of smart, a lot of energy, certain type of energy that men just like, even though, and men like savages. I'm gonna tell you something. That's a secret thing. I know y'all saying y'all men lie and say y'all don't, but a lot of men are attracted to savages. When women don't care about you, they tend to be more drawn. I don't know what the issue is yet. Maybe it's the chase. I don't know. Okay, but but this particular friend, so my other friend, we had a big dinner or something, and this guy is at the dinner. My friend breaks up with him. I have my other friend there who met my other friend, right? And her and this guy meet each other. I said, "Oh no, this is not good. This is not good." I said, "Yo." I tell my friend's like, "Oh, he's so nice. Is that?" I said, "That's the guy that my friend is dating." "Oh, she's not here tonight." I said, "Yes." Well, she said, "Well, I don't really know her that well." I'm like, "Girl," I said, "You gonna put me in the middle of some shit." But I mean, y'all grown. I can't stop you from doing what you're doing. I didn't introduce y'all, so it ain't my business. But she gonna raise hell if she find out you was at her house, you was eating her food, she done talked to you about some shit, and you go back and tell him any of that shit. Don't tell him nothing that you've heard or whatever. I should have known that shit wasn't gonna go. Cause what happens, they end up dating. She tells him some of that shit. I'm like, oh no. My friend who's a savage, like, bitch, I will take him back. Don't play me. So the savage done got mad, is acting a fool. And my friend I'm in the middle of it between these two, right? And so I'm like, she's like, well, I can't expect her. I said, I asked you not to tell her. So it's in the middle. I'm in the middle of this crazy mess, right? And so we're all going to a baseball game together. It's a bunch of us. Okay. And my friend calls up one of my other guy friends and says, it's my husband, who is my husband now. He didn't know what was going on. So it was a bunch of us. I had a bunch of guy friends at the time, and he was one of them. And so she says, like, I want to go to the game. Why y'all didn't invite me to the game and everything like that? He's like, I don't care. You just buy your ticket. This is where our tickets was. But he didn't know nothing about what was going on. He had no clue. So I'm like, she calls me up and said, I'm going to the game. I'll meet you there. I said, what? No, you can't go to the game. I said, because he's going, what's his name is going to be there. And he's dating the other, he's dating, what's her name now? I don't give a F. I've been your bestie for years. One of your besties for years. How the fuck you going to dog me for some new chick you done met, right? So I'm feeling in the middle of this. I'm like, oh no, this is really not good. I don't know what to do. And so I'm telling the dude, I'm telling the dudes that at the thing, and my guy, the guy who is now my husband, he didn't know. He's going, what? I'm like, yo, like he's like, ah. And I said, nah, I got you, because it wasn't your fault. And the other dude, we tell the other dude, he's like, yo, it's not nobody's fault or whatever like that. I said, she gonna act a fool. But we didn't tell my friend. We didn't tell my friend that she was coming. Show up, shows out. At the baseball game. Like, I'm trying to stay out of it. And it was bad because I shouldn't have. So I got up and I said, hey, I just took her away from the situation because she was acting a fool. But my other friend took offense to that, because I didn't say nothing. I just went to go sit with her so that she wouldn't cause no drama, so she could calm down. And my friend, the other new friend, was like, the fuck, like that? What's she? But nobody explained to my new friend, like, yo, Keisha's trying to keep her down so she won't come over. So I made her sit in a whole nother section with me so I could enjoy the baseball game, because I actually like sports. and I didn't have to deal with it. But my mistake was not saying to my friend, hey, I need to calm her ass down, okay, and stuff like that. Even at the end, I didn't go. I tried to keep them separate, so I didn't even come back. I didn't come back. The next day, my friend was so angry. She called me crying and stuff like that. I'm like, let's have dinner, lunch. Let me explain to you. She never understood it. Our friendship was never the same. She never understood. And even the guy was mad at me for years, who was one of my great friends. Me and him were like, me and him were best friends. We used to talk all the time. Like I was a group of guys that I was best friends with. So I was so hurt because I was like, I would never intentionally, but I understood that me not saying anything made it far worse. So I couldn't get mad at her for that, not having that same energy with me, even though I had saw some red flags. And I knew that I probably, maybe somewhere inside of me, I was a little angry about her telling the dude stuff and everything, but I didn't confront those things. You know what I'm saying? So it ended a friendship. But later on, me and the guy, we ended up back good friends and stuff again. But that, because he figured out what happened and everything like that. But it was terrible. And I couldn't blame her. I said I could not, because she didn't really understand why I had just went away. But I had to go away because otherwise my friend who was savage would have been up in there fighting and arguing, and she already had came in there throwing names, calling the girl names and stuff, and they was up kind of getting ready to go to blows, and I just walked away with her, because if I hadn't, it would have been a mess. Okay, so she never understood it. She just thought I was picking her over me, and I wasn't picking anyone, and it caused such a crazy mess. So I don't blame. So to me, sometimes as friendships, you gotta explain where your thing is. But when it comes to something as simple as a club, like when you're talking about you're going to a club with your plus size friend, and your plus size friend is discriminated against, and they say to her, now you don't understand the implications that's happened to your plus size friend. She's already embarrassed because these people are charging her an upcharge just because of how she looks. So you're not considering, like, the first thing I would have said is, nah, motherfuckers, we gonna go to the hotel. We going with you, girl. We get some drinks. We gonna bring in a new year together, okay? Because that's how I go. That's how we are. We sisters. But you putting her in that cab and then going to party and showing it on the internet, the worst kind of friend. The worst. Them are the type of friends who will leave you if you in trouble. Like if you in trouble in a place, you know certain people that who will see you falling, or like if you drunk or something, and they will let some dude carry you away and be like, she walked away with some dude. I saw this one night too. I was at a big club in Kansas City. It was an athlete's party, right? It was an athlete's party. And I knew the athlete, right? So this girl was sloppy drunk. It was almost, now when I look back at it, it was almost as if somebody had put something in her drink, because she was almost out of it. I go over, I say, are you okay? She was talking gibberish. Her friends was just I said to her friends, I said, hey, y'all might want to, are you guys from around here or something like that? And they were staying at this hotel where this party was. The girls told me it was white girls. They said, oh yeah, we're at the, she's just drunker. I was like, no, she's falling all over her. I said, this is not, I said, I don't know if it's a safe environment, because there's a lot of men in there. Okay. I said, maybe y'all want to take care of her, make sure she gets to her room. All right. Yeah. Okay. They leave her, they out on the floor dancing, not paying no attention. The girl is out of it. The girl does not look good. Okay, I'm paying attention, and I hear these dudes. You see these dudes in back of me, two black guys that I kind of familiar with. I knew. I hear them plotting on her. Like, yo, maybe we go over there, what's up. I hear them. It's literally kind of plotting to me. Sound like what it sounded like to me was a rape. Like because you can't, a woman that drunk cannot fucking defend herself. You know what I'm saying? She can't say no, yes, or whatever. So I go to my athlete friend and I say, hey. He's like, well, I said, this girl, he said, oh man, he said, you right. He said, I don't want no shit to go off. I said, you need to make sure they somebody get her out of here and stuff like this. He said, where are her friends? And so he went and got one of her friends. He said, take her the fuck to her room. What the fuck are y'all doing? Or something like that. And he's looking at me. He said, man, he said, shit. Like he said, he said, all that shit be on me if something happened. He said, who the fuckers was still plotting on her? And I was playing. He said, let me watch them motherfuckers, because he said they ain't gonna do shit to nobody else. He said, what kind of craziness is that? But he was so glad I told him, and I was so glad it wasn't for him. It's just because I know he had a reputation and stuff to protect at that time and everything. But it wasn't for him. It was for the girl. Because I was like, her friends were not paying attention, and motherfuckers plotting on her and everything. Get her up there. She wake up the next morning and don't know what the fuck done happened. So it's, and that's friends those are the type of friends these women are. They will leave you out to dry for your fucking self. Understand, let me tell you something. As we going into 2026, understand your friendships. Understand what kind of friend you are. I had to say that for myself too. What kind of friend are you? Are you one of these motherfuckers that would leave you because you want to party so much? You want to be in the club in Miami so much, you would leave your friend, somebody you calling your friend outside who's been discriminated against. And no, put her in an Uber and say, we make sure you get to the hotel safe. Bitch, how you going to make sure she get to the hotel safe when you ain't with her? This is scandalous. This is the worst kind of friend, okay? I'm just telling y'all, that is not cool. And tell your daughters and your kids and your teenage people, who you come with, leave with, unless your friend is acting a freaking fool and they don't want to leave with you or something. And don't let them get you in no trouble. Don't let them get you in no wild spaces. This was horrible. And she thinks she flexing too. Just listen to
4 of us get ready to go out. I already DM'd the promoter for Vendom, so that way he said we can get in, there'll be alcohol, no, wait at the door, everything's all good. We pull up, one of my friends is plus size, and they tell her that she has to pay $300 at the door. We all thought we were going to have an expense-free night, so no one wanted to pay for the $300 entry fee. We spent over 2 hours trying to figure out if we're going to split it, can she put on her credit card, whether we're just going to leave, go to another club, like literally just doing everything. And we spent over 2 hours plotting and planning and strategizing. Finally, we're 10 minutes before New Year's Eve. And I personally did not want to spend my New Year's Eve sitting on the curb. So I asked my friend, would you be willing for us to pay for your Uber to go back home so you can watch the ball drop, watch fireworks, and be safe? So that way we can at least go into the club before midnight. She turned to me and says, I'll get in that Uber, but once I do, we are not friends anymore. If you've ever wondered why people say,
that is horrible. Let me let you hear what she said from the beginning.
Miami tests friendships and Vegas tests relationships. Let me tell you about my New Year's Eve last night. 4 of us get ready to go out. I already DM'd the promoter for Vendom, so that way he said we can get in, there'll be alcohol, no, wait at the door, everything's all good. We pull up, one of my friends is plus size, and they tell her that she has to pay $300 at the door.
Okay, y'all, this is horrible. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break because I got something going on. Yeah, I'm in the middle of the show. Everything happening right now because it's morning time, okay? So let me take a quick break and I'm coming back and we'll finish discussing this situation, okay? Okay, everybody, I am back. But what we just saw, that is not, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry about the delay, y'all. I got grandparents. But yeah, but listen, yeah, my grandparents, boy, they be having their list ready. Okay. So yeah, so I'm trying to get I gotta get off and get right to my work, my job, my kids. All right, but yeah, so listen, when you have friends like that, you don't need enemies. And the girl, I commend the sister who said she will get, once I get in that Uber, it's over with. 2026, examine your friends. If you got friends like this, if you got friends, my grandma used to tell me, it's years ago. My grandma used to tell me about my friends and I didn't believe them. Sometimes I wouldn't believe her. I remember one time my grandmother told me something and it really, she said, it was a friend I was hanging, it was a person I was hanging with. And my grandma said, why are you hanging with her? And I said, well, I can't, just because this has happened to her, I can't not be her friend. And my grandma's like, girl, this girl is too much. She said, yeah, but that energy of hers is gonna get on you, start to get on you and stuff like that in certain ways. And she was right about that. And and I was so trying to be empathic and be a good friend and everything like that. But the truth of the matter is we just didn't have anything in common anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand and see it at that point. I just didn't see. And everybody, she would always, even when I remember I having this big slumber party when I was a kid, and there were these girls I used to think were so cool. I was a little girl, and I was probably like, I was like maybe fourth grade. I don't even know if I was in the fourth grade. I might have been in the second or third grade, right? And I had this slumber party, and I invited all these girls that I thought were like great, cool girls, right? And I'm friends with some of them to this, cool to this day with them. But at the time, I didn't really understand. I'm a little girl, so I'm like, I have all these people on my summer party mix list with my old girlfriends too. So I have a great slumber party. The slumber party is to die for. It's a great. My grandma used to do my slumber parties up, baby. Okay. And plus we had BT and cable and stuff like that. I was a hood. We was hoods. We was hood rich. What I'm saying? So my grandmother, everybody, you get to watch a video soul and a lot of stuff. So my grandparents used to do, my grandfather, every grandmother would make sure my summer parties was the bomb. Okay. Food for days. Okay. You had treats, snacks, a scary movie, whatever you want to watch. Okay. So, but these particular friends, they were so, I didn't realize, like, I don't know if they liked me so much because I was very shy. I think what was going on, they were so enthralled by all the things, everything that was going on, what I had. They were like, oh, y'all got this. Oh, you got one of those. I was like, oh my God. It became more because my room was like, I'm an only child. Okay. So I'm an only child to my mother. Right. And my dad's family has other children. My dad has other children, but I'm the only child to my mom. And so I'm the kid that had been there, has no kids in the family. I'm the first kid in years, so I got everything. Okay, you Alfie, you name me, all the stuff. What's the speaking spell? I had all that shit. It was like a pianos, Barbie doll houses. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Okay. Our little princes, okay? And so they came in, they were so enthralled with everything going on. I was like, oh my God. And I realized that they were more probably interested in my in my thing. And I don't know if they thought I was as such as cool or something like that. So I remember afterwards the summer party, it's a hit. Nothing goes off. I make new friends and everything like that. But my grandmother says to me, and my granny is a straight up chick, okay? My granny like, Kiki. And I'm like, yes. She like, do you see now why you can't, everybody can't be your friend? I know you like those young ladies, but they just, and I'm not being, and I'm telling you that some people are not going to be on the same they're not going to be on the same level. This is what your word she used, levels as you. They're not going to, and they're going to see your things instead of you. And I remember I just thought that was a valuable. She said, I know you sense it because I can see, because she saw me get quiet. Even though the slumber party was a hit and everybody was like, yeah, you know, it was so fun. Thank you. And but they were going through what my grandmother was saying is those girls, some of the girls I had invited were going through things that I couldn't imagine. And so it wasn't that they didn't like me or didn't know. It was just that, and this, my grandma's old school. It was just that I needed to learn to be their friend before I brought them into what all the things, who I was, what I had and stuff like that, because it kind of made it even more distant because it was sort of like, oh, she a little princess up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Or it didn't give it. And my grandmother was saying, hey, your friend, your old friends, they, you know, a lot of my old friends, they are kind of had the same, not all of them, but they knew me. We've been knowing each other for a while. They kind of knew what was going on. But these new friends I was trying to gather, I didn't consider like where they were in their, you know, as a kids. I didn't consider like why we were so different, or, you know, I just thought, oh, these are some older girls I want to know, and blah, 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 blah. And it kind of created a different kind of energy. Some of it was jealousy, some of it was, but some of them was we remained great friends. Some of them became even cooler with me and stuff like that. And then my grandmother had attached to one girl because her mom had a drug problem. My grandmother would go check on her. I wasn't even her friend anymore. I didn't even know her really that well anymore. My grandma would go check on her, go to her house, talk to her mom, because her mom kind of had went crazy or something like that. But she would check on, because she had a house full of kids that my grandmother took to the girl. But listen, I'm just saying that she taught me a valuable lesson that sometimes you and friends ain't on the same levels. Y'all going different places, even though that's rough. It's rough and tough, but it's right. Okay, so as you go into 2000, as we into 2026, this is the dividing line. This is you 4 years, you passed the 2025 mark. You 4 years to the new decade. A lot of things will have changed in your life in the next 4 years because we at a turning point. 26 is a turning point. It's a turning point. It's a turning point. People call it the number of man. I also say once you go past the 5-year mark, you went on to a new cycle. This is also a new cycle in your life. Okay, so you're gonna have to start recognizing some shit. Even friends who you love and friends who you consider that might be good for you, it just may be time for changes. So you respectfully have to do some things. So I tell y'all my little stories all the time because I'm hoping y'all can use them in your life and everything like that. But yeah, these are not good friends. I don't think anything they did was cool. Them up some bum bitches is actually what I would say. Bum bitches to leave your friend. And ain't no way I would have had to sit there and argue about $300 unless my big friend wanted to really go. I wouldn't have been, but I wouldn't have let her do me like that. I say, motherfucker, they discriminating. Yeah, fuck them. We ain't gonna, we go find another club. There is no way I'm paying them $300 because because they think you too big. That should not be. Kind of crazy, and y'all letting them get away in Miami with all this discrimination bullshit. Let me tell you, celebrities, black men celebrities who go to these fucking clubs in Miami, and so y'all ain't gonna listen because y'all like black men. And I'm about to talk about black men in a minute here with this thing with other races, but black men, sometimes I think you're the most. Y'all talk about us, but sometimes I think a lot of y'all have a lot of self-hate issues going on. It's really strong. Y'all will go up in these clubs and y'all will know they discriminate against black women. Y'all will know they discriminate against plus size women. And y'all will support them and even agree. When you come from a culture that has been rejected all the time for no reason, good reason at fucking all, but the color of your skin, how the fuck you gonna be participating in discriminatory practices? I don't care how many A-list celebrities is up in the club too. It's celebrities. Can I tell you, celebrities is a different race? Let me talk about that motherfucking ass for a minute here. Okay, they'll have concerts. They'll do everything. They run around, and I can't listen. Celebrities is so hard to say because their lifestyle is so attached to money. Their money, they're making money, and listen, on their behalf, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this before I get on them. On their behalf, I can understand the struggle. I can understand. And sometimes they just don't know. Celebrities are so blinded to everything. They don't know what's going on their outside. They have no clue because their life is going so fast. So they don't know that they're making an appearance on a club in a club that's known to be racially racially discriminatory. You know, a lot of what happens in the celebrity world, there's a separation that's happening. Okay. It didn't used to happen years ago, but that's why the celebrities in the 1930s and 40s and 50s and stuff like that were a little bit more closer to the community because they were getting treated discriminatory too. There wasn't everybody was in the same motherfucking boat. It didn't matter if you had $100,000, nothing. They was like, you as niggas a nigga, and they still like that. But this time, because they're so much more attached, they've gotten a little bit better of hiding that discriminatory thing. So what they've done is a separation now. So what they've done is like, we're gonna separate. Hold on, you guys. We're gonna separate. We're gonna separate these guys from their community, and we're gonna make them think they're special. That race is it's ambiguous to them. So I call celebrity has their own race. Black celebrity has their own race. And a lot of them ain't gonna do because they've been in this, they've separated them in this ambiguity cloud. A lot of them don't see grassroots movements. A lot of them don't understand what's going on in their everyday lives because people in celebrity world tend to run their lives and stuff like that. They got handlers instead of partnerships. And a lot of, these motherfuckers is handlers, okay? A lot of them have handlers that are controlling their careers and controlling them and everything else. They're not partners with them in their careers and stuff like that. They are, and I'm starting to, in my mind, I'm starting to believe that certain people are picked for that because they know they're susceptible to handlers and stuff like that. There are some celebrities out there who don't do that, play them games, and probably more than likely, they not a part of the crew, but the ones who play the game and stuff like that are. So you can't, in my personal opinion, you can't trust celebrity to run ask celebrity to be a part of movements and stuff like that, like you used to could, because they become something else. And there's a disconnect most of the time between you and them. Okay. So you don't look to celebrities for your politics. Don't look to celebrities for your, it's not that some of them ain't smart. Some of them are. You got to find the ones that are smart. And you might say, yeah, I can hear him. I hear her. But some people, they have no disconnect. And they will lead you down a crazy rabbit hole. Okay. So what I say is, so I can't really say I'm up here talking about celebrities should be better about these clubs in Miami and stuff like that, but I can't say because they don't see themselves as a part of that. A lot of the black males now, a lot of the women, even if they racist, will come at these black men for relationships and stuff because they got money. And so the black men think they desirable, but motherfuckers, it's not that you desirable. It's that they a lot of the, let me tell you what black men, I'm about to say something. I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say this. And then as I go into this next story, this is why it's important. How race in America is doled out. Let me help you to understand, because a lot of people saying black men are the most desirable men and stuff like that. No, that's not true. The stats, there is a stat, not this. One of the girls in these comments was talking about this, and I read that stat that the most undesirable people usually are, they say Chinese men and black women, and black women because of low stature. Now, but not because they're not beautiful, because it's because uh being black represents sometimes those stats, but they say black men are still among the most least desirable. They're the only most desired by black women. Okay. um you think all the white girls and everything, and the Mexicans and the Hispanic, let me just understand, Latinos and everybody wants you, but do you understand what it means to be with you in society? It means what kind of target it puts on people's back. Most people don't want that. Okay, but I will tell you this: the reason a lot of those, I always tell black men, you got black men and women, black women too. You have to examine anybody you get into a relationship with, but you definitely got to examine when it's interracial. And the reason why I tell you have to examine that more so, because a lot of these people be the rejects of their community. No, that's why they want you so much. They can't get no big dog in white circles. You think that most people would take on the tag of racism in America? Not that we not great. We great people. We are a beautiful people. Black men are beautiful. Black women are beautiful. But you think most people would take on the tag of racism and all the things that come with your ass if you didn't have money or if they wasn't in some rejective system? They can't get them. I always tell black men, when you see a blonde in the club, she's blonde and blue-eyed and she fucking with you, you better ask the white dudes what's going on with her. I always say this. Because she's not an undesirable in her community. That doesn't mean she can't love you. It's some people gonna hear this and be like, well, you just trying to say it can't be love. No, I'm not saying that. There is, most of the time, yes, there can, I mean, not most of the time, sometimes, very few times, there can be real love there. That's not, but I say examine it. Start asking about reputation. There's a prominent family right now. Y'all gonna know who I'm talking about in show business right now. You know why they start targeting black men to build their careers? Because they couldn't get nobody else. And you don't see Leonardo hanging out with them. You ain't seen Brad over there hanging out. Who else? What's the other popular white men? All the white men. You starting to see a couple here and there. They trying to get their career off because the black men done already built to lure these girls up. But you ain't seen the big top white men running over there hanging with them. There's a reason for that. Okay, I'm just trying to. I gotta say these type of things that people get upset. Okay, so let me go to this. Brings me to this next discussion. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let's see. If I pull it up, y'all. Pull this next one up. Okay. I've been having a lot of blank spaces today. Y'all gotta roll with me. Roll with me. Okay, roll with me. Roll with me, y'all. Okay. Okay, this story I just saw today. Okay. Why black men date other races? Okay. And you got a non-black person up here talking about this stuff. Y'all, that's funny to me. Okay. Let's see if I can pull this up. Okay, yeah, I'm getting it. And y'all, you're gonna hear this is first of all, this is somebody playing games with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon, and he should be more aware because he called himself black, like he in the black, he always be having discussions with people like black, a lot of black activists and stuff like that, which I don't know if he be listening. But yeah, so let me let y'all hear this, okay? Uh it says the real reason, this is from Child of God 216. It says the real reason reason American black men date outside their race, according to Nick Cannon and Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend. Oh, she was going with Travis Kelce? Huh. Okay, interesting. Okay. Let me let y'all hear this lady talk, okay?
Want them. Now there are Chinese billionaires.
Say it loud.
It's not their
what?
fault. Other women want them, and Indian men that are
Chelsea's ex-girlfriend and Nick Cannon discuss why black men date outside their race.
Don't like black women. It's just that they have access to every other race. Other races want them. Now there are Chinese billionaires.
Say it again. Say it loud.
It's not their fault. Other women want them, and Indian men that are billionaires. There are Chinese men that are billionaires. They stay in their own race. Now, is that entirely because they, love their race, or is it because they don't have universal appeal? It's just that other women flock to them and don't let them stay within their own race. I really don't. I see so many women whose dream is to have a child with a black man, or they just want a black man more than anything else. When they date white men, they'll talk about what do you expect? It's not the same. They're not sitting there having conversations with their white guy and saying, "Can I get a hall pass for a Chinese man?" They're not saying that. Black man of choice. They will usually choose black women.
Yeah.
They usually will choose black women, or if they go to other races, it's because she has black women features. It's not really because, so they love their blackness. It's just that we all love your blackness. It's just, I think it's not really about black men. I think it's the appeal they have and the testosterone. And I really think it boils down to masculinity. They exude more testosterone and masculinity than other races. So they become universally desired by women. Now, this is not all women. I'm just saying in general, they have more. You could travel to any country. You join Tinder, girls will match with you. It's any country. Now, if you do that same thing as like a Pakistani man or as a Vietnamese man, you don't have the same luck.
Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend and
y'all stop the bullshit. This is listen. First of all, don't let a non-black woman try to tell somebody who does not understand the dynamics of race and who have not looked at the dynamics of race, how much they want y'all. Yeah, they fetishize you. Yes, some people do want kids, biracial kids, because they hope, because usually most of the time, they can morph them into other, they become other things, okay? Black men, it is not because everybody just wants you. This chick is blowing your head up. Nobody wants the problem, the smoke that come with being black. You think they wouldn't go for a white boy with $1 billion beside you? Hell yeah, and ain't because your testosterone. As a matter of fact, Chelsea Handler said black men are a lot easier on you than white men. That's what she said. And it's a power dynamic too, especially with white women, because one thing about the other race of women, they understand they always gonna have the motherfucking power. Okay, they are gonna have always over you. Okay, they understand that. They understand no matter how dominant you are and no matter you play the cool dude and stuff like that, motherfucker, when they call the police and be like, this man is hitting me, they're gonna come get you and put you under the jail because they don't actually like that. Okay. White women have been playing these games for, not all white women, but a lot of white women have been playing these race games with black men for centuries. And if you don't know the history of it, then you won't know. Emmett Till was killed because he just looked at a white woman wrong. They've been playing these games forever. And the white woman went back and said, he was looking at me. He said, I don't know how many black men probably in jail because of some white women done lied. They was caught having sex. And I've heard a situation where this teenager, young white girls having sex with another black boy, and the black man ends up in jail because they say they got raped because their parents called. Listen, let me tell y'all can't buy these bullshit. Now, a lot of this is rejection. It's not that these women, it's women. Most women are not the top in their group. They can't get the billionaire dudes. They can't get it. But where they do know, what they do understand about Black American men and black men and women, period, throughout the diaspora. Some of y'all more so in the diaspora. Okay, because I done seen it. I've seen the crazy self-hate in a lot of the diaspora. It's crazy. Okay, more so in the diaspora, what they understand is that you have low self-esteem, and that you don't like you tend to not like yourselves, and you tend to covet their lifestyle, whiteness. Or you covet European features, because European features and European looks have been sold all through over the world as this is the way to look, or look close to it. This is beauty. Okay. So you, as a lot of men, grow up seeing the standard of beauty being whiteness or something similar to whiteness. Okay. So that's affecting you. And what they understand, what a lot of white women understand, and these women in the Caribbean and places like, these women in other countries and stuff, they understand that a lot. They done heard about passport bros. They done heard about the dumb shit y'all going over to Brazil and all these other countries trying to find women. Telling me they more. These women is here. They more what y'all say? They not like American women. They more humble and they more this and that. Nah, bitch, they playing a role. Okay, they understand the fuck what you are. They understand that they be on. Look at some of the videos on YouTube at women, Dominican women, different people laughing at black men, talking about knowing they a trick, knowing that you got self-hate issues. Seeing you come over there in droves, making it look like black women ain't held you down and shit in America, looking like bullshit. This is a bunch of bullshit. You don't want to deal with your own toxicity, so you running over there to where you. I told one of my friends who's going over to Brazil. I said a lame is a lame no matter where you at. You said, what you mean? I said, you a lame. If you a lame in America, you a lame there. They just don't have they may not be, they not just straight up as American women. Your personality flaws don't change when you go over to there. It ain't the women here, ain't all the women here, because you ain't met all the women here. And for you to have a certain kind of prejudice of race. So a lot of these women who are rejects in their countries, like they can't get the big time men because you don't understand class order in other races. Let me shout on that. Let me get up and shout. Give Bishop Jake a shout. Okay, listen here. A Jesus shout to me. Let me tell y'all something here. Okay, y'all don't understand the dynamics of classism and race in other groups. So you don't understand they top tier. That's why white men don't be getting that upset when you walking away with some of them women. They be like, oh, okay, that's your business. Because you ain't walking away with no top tier. And if you are walking away with top tier, you got to ask yourself what went down. Okay. You got to ask yourself that. It's not because you're the most desirable. It's usually, that's like, what's her name? One of the women, I love, somebody talked about this. One of the women who is, what's that girl's name who tried to pretend she was black, went to Howard, everything. And she's not the only person. It's a lot of other women who have done this too. Some other people who have done this too. But, let me see what her name is. Um, what was her name? Rachel Dolezal. Okay, Rachel Dolezal's picture for this. Okay, Rachel Dolezal. A lot of people really peep game on Rachel Dolezal, how she was able to move up and I even say the same thing goes with some biracial. So I talk about the same dynamic going on with Kamala Harris. Um, and I think Black people don't examine it enough. Rachel Dolezal could not. The reason why she wanted to be, she's so happy about being Black because she made it up to top spaces in the Black community. She was able to be head of one of the heads of one of the NAACP chapters, local chapters in her area. She was able to do a lot of stuff simply because she had a more of a European slant. Because people thought she was a biracial or something, or a real high yellow Black woman. And she knows that in Black society, a lot of people were saying that in Black, that Rachel Dolezal, this is what some people were saying about her, that she understands racial how classism and racism in the Black community, that we have a problem with colorism. And so she knows the lighter Blacks or the lighter skin may get more. You get advantages that the sometimes dark skinned people don't. And she knew that. She came over to our community because she wasn't getting no white. She ain't the top echelon up in the white community. So she came over and pretended to be half Black because she understood that Black people tend to fetishize and have a colorism problem and will put people up at the top just because of the color of their skin. Will consider Europeanness better. Our European looks better. So that's why a lot of times, a lot of these women come off, that's even the Kardashians, they play themselves off as like, they go tan, they change their lips to get lip fillers, their bodies is more voluptuous because they understand that in the Black community, what the dysfunction of our community is this hierarchy thing of colorism, that you have slight European features that make you up in that community. Okay, what's put the Kardashians mostly at the top have been white women. So, and what's going on is the Kardashians have shown white people in other races who have been rejects all through their other races, the dysfunction of our race. Hey, I can't get a rich white man. Can't get a rich Chinese man, but I can fool a rich Black man into thinking I'm top echelon because they are colorists. They're not asking for the same things my community is asking of me. My community may ask me to be smart. My community may be asking me to be in shape. My community may be asking me to be this and that. My community may ask me not to be no hoe. My community may not ask me to be this and that. But Black men don't know this about me. It's easier. They have an easier standard. Their standard is just I look a little European. And for some Black men, it is status for a while to have that. It's so much easier. Can I tell you something? It's so much easier for Black people. And I will say this. Let me just say this, okay? Even though for a white woman being with a Black man, it's a lot harder. But if they can't get wealthy white men, they'll come to you because it's a much easier life than living one without a wealthy white man, right? And also I do believe sexually, I haven't even talked about that. Sexually, people can be fooled and attracted to that way too, sexually, what they consider dominance and fetishes, all that stuff. But for the most part, I believe this is a class problem. And I think that what happens is a lot of Black white women have a harder time, but Black men, your status goes up. Same thing with Black women. Your status goes up from being with a white man. his status will come down. That's why you don't see a lot of top. Why the fuck you think Travis Kelce bounced to Taylor Swift? We ain't gonna play no games. Allegedly. Okay, Keisha's Carlotta one-on-one. Okay, because it's Kayla fucking Nicole don't give you the same benefits, no matter how beautiful she is, no matter how fucking smart she is. Girl graduated from fucking Pepperdine. I didn't know that. I was like, the fuck, what? I said, girl, you should have been acting like you graduated from Pepperdine with Travis's ass. Okay, you should have been acting. She wasn't acting like that when she was with Travis. Now she all of a sudden out here in these streets. Okay, but this motherfucker graduated from Pepperdine in California. That's like an Ivy League. Okay, why you think that he is chosen Taylor Swift? Why you think he up here running around with Taylor Swift? His opportunities have opened up. And it ain't just because she Taylor Swift. It's just being white in America, being a white couple. I know y'all white people don't like to hear it, but you only need to spend a day in black skin to understand the differences. The world has opened the fuck up for Travis Kelce. I wish Travis Kelce one day would tell the truth about this shit, because only he knows the secrets of this shit. He ain't gonna never do it though. But the secret is his opportunities and his world has opened up a whole lot fucking more being with Taylor Swift than it has with Kayla Nicole. Kayla Nicole brought him down a few notches, even though he might have been sexually attractive to white women, because they got now white women like black men swag, but it ain't enough to take down their lifestyle. Okay, because they raised in a different time frame, but in a different time, a different environment. But they do like the swag of black men. And Taylor Swift, she gets that swag without having to deal with the bringing down. If she married a black guy, she ain't got to deal. She can get it, but even though he not being that swag no more, he done cleaned himself up a little bit. He got it slightly, but she still get that edge without going all the way black. And most people, because they don't want to do, because being black in this world has come with certain things. I'll tell you this, it's more radical and more rebellious to be a black. Think of when you see a black family walk into a door. Let me just say this. I remember on holidays seeing, when I worked at Crown Center, I used to see white families all the time on Christmas, and I worked for Hallmark, Crown Center Hallmark. Families would come in from all around the world, and I always used to be admiring. It'd be the whole white family. It'd be their mama, their daddy, grandma, grandpa, sometimes great grandparents. Everybody's in around. Everybody there for dinner. Blah 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 blah. And they be rocking around, buying, shopping, having a family outing for the holiday. But when a black family walked in there, it was always a shocker with everybody layered. People be really staring at it, because you don't seldom see it. With everybody together. And listen, it's all immediately people will feel some sort of way. Not all people, but some people. Because blackness, that represents the generations of blackness to keep going. This dominant culture keeps living. So it is, in some senses, harder to be with a black woman and a black man and a black woman coming together and deciding that they're going to do love in a society that rejects them. And a lot of times, I'm going to play this part. Let me play this I saw this the other day, and this is going to speak to some of that too. I saw this particular thing the other day. Very good. This young man said about men and dating. Okay. Say this. It doesn't mean there aren't beautiful light-skinned women or biracial women. They are gorgeous, but there are beautiful also dark-skinned women. Beautiful all around the world. Gorgeous. I think about that model that from Africa, Anuka Naka, I forget her name. Oh my God, just the most beautiful skin in the world. And a lot of times, and there's beautiful, a lot of times Black American women, dark-skinned Black American women are rejected too because people don't consider them as exotic as Africans or something. Maybe we have some European features or something like that. But listen, I always tell people, just no way, I'm from a beautiful dark-skinned woman. My whole face comes from a beautiful dark-skinned woman. People don't notice it because they always think me and my mother are so high yellow. So people don't understand when they see my grandmother, they like, oh, but we really all look alike. We're just light. We have her face. And my grandmother is a beauty. Wasn't, especially even in her younger years. Okay, so yeah, that doesn't, but a lot of times dark-skinned women in society, because of racial implications, their beauty is rejected because of people's low self-esteem. It's not really our low self-esteem, it's really the white community's low self-esteem. But now it's become our low self-esteem too. You know what I'm saying? So okay, so let me let y'all hear this man, and I'll break down to y'all what I mean by why men. One of the reasons too, there's a choosing of these women and stuff like that. Different women. This man says something that I think is very powerful. It says Carlos men differently based on whether their woman is attractive or not. She's a reflection of you. Okay. Okay. Can we get this going? Oh yeah.